size and his girth, you know, that guy could really get up. So when Barkley comes through, you better get out of the way.
Barkley's coast to coast was one of those things that made me want to learn how to dribble coast to coast.
Charles Barkley reminded me mainly of myself because he says whatever he feels, and whatever happens after this, he got to deal with it.
If a guy took a charge of me, I would try to kill him.
You know, guys today, I think, are so serious. When the game starts, you say, after the game, hey, man, you guys beat Detroit. How you feeling? Well, we made our shots, and we moved the ball around, and they're a good team. Nobody cares about that. You want to hear, yeah, I dunked on him. I'll dunk on his mama next week. I dunked on the whole team, and I got more for him. Whole lot more where they come from.
Coming up next, we take a look at the most athletic dunks in NBA history. And still to come, it's the best of the best, the famous four.
It was a nasty dunk, but it was real smooth. Because you see, he was tapping the ball, he was looking up with the fro, and he just cuffed it like, and he just rocked it.
NBA Posterized is brought to you by Autotrader.com, the smarter place to buy and sell a car, and by the new Air Jordan 22.
They're known simply by one-word names, Doc and Neek, Skywalker, Kobe and Vince. Not only some of the greatest dunkers the NBA has ever seen, but some of its greatest athletes. And not surprisingly, authors of the most athletic dunks you'll ever want to see.
20 from downtown this year, 20 of the... Vince Carter!
Oh, my God.
He went up on one side like this, brought it down, and came on the other side and dunked it like that. And that's when I realized he was for real.
That was one of the ones that really, I think, stuck out in everybody's mind. And at that time, everywhere you go, people were like, how'd you do it? What made you do it?
Once he started to go up and turn midair, I was like, well, what is he going to do? And then once you see the dunk, you're like, did he really? He didn't. All right, let's get the ball out and let's go on up.
Shot clock. Down low for Dominique. Baseline drive. Dominique. Oh, my goodness!
I think that's the best dunk of all time in competition, in a game. I mean, when you look at the situation of that game, it was 105-105.
After I made that dunk, Bob Lanier, after the game, wouldn't shake my hand, wouldn't speak. He didn't speak to me about 6 years. After that dunk, he hated me.
Dominique had sexy force. Cause he was like real sexy. You know, especially when he had like a little S curl and the waves in his head. He was real sexy, but he had a lot of force with it.
Dominique was moving it out of the way of defenders to dunk it, which is so different and so unique. He was the best in the business at that.
Yeah, that's right. Well, they were 12 for 12 at half. That's perfect, but not enough time. Oh, what a play by David Thompson.
Here you got one of the smaller guys in David Thompson jumping over their whole front line, catching one off the rim. I mean, he had his elbow over the rim. That was a pretty incredible dunk.
He got the ball really high and just slammed it through and knocked a couple guys over. Dunked on top of a couple guys, and I think the coach got a little bit upset about it.
Nasalki went right out on the court. He's got Joe Harris upset.
And I think Tom Nasalki was so stunned on the sidelines, I don't know if he believed what he saw, so he figured that had to be illegal.
Well, now, that was terrible coat he had on, but for that era, he was cool. He was cool in the game, but right now, you wouldn't even want to be buried in that jacket.
When you talk about the great leapers in the history of the game, you have to speak about David Thompson, or you haven't seen him play when he was young and in his prime.
Long run out by Kobe Bryant. Behind.
First of all, you got to remember, I'm catching it over my head. Then I got the presence of mind to go behind my back with a man closing on me. Then I had to think about, I'm going to go and almost go up and then turn in midair and dunk it behind my head. Come on now.
That's a basketball play. That's what makes it so much more impressive. It wasn't the fact that he just jumped over me. He made you look silly.
Robert Ory threw me a long outlet pass. and I caught it on the break. And I was just going to the basket, just trying to finish it, and he cut me off, so I put it behind my back, and then went from there.
If you watch the defender, a guy by the name of Vincent Yarborough, who probably is watching this show and is seeing firsthand, and his family is watching alongside, that he was nearly posterized, but Vincent kind of puts his hands down so as to avoid the official word that you have been posterized.
Kevin Willis made Dirk change that one. Yes, he did. Good defensive play by Kevin Willis. Carter, oh! Vince Carter!
I had the ball, and I kind of threw it to him, no look. Got it, did a 360 one hand the wrong way. And I never seen that. He did 360 the wrong way in transition.
Basically threw him the ball, and I was going through the lane, so I was going to do a 360. And as I'm turning, I felt like in my mind, I over-rotated, and as I'm midway, I turn around, I'm like, no, I better dunk this to two-hand just in case.
Vince Carter has probably had 5 to 10 of the greatest dunks we've ever seen in-game action.
Doctor tried to steal, he's got it. Throws to the foot race, and here he comes. Doctor looks for daylight. With meaning, he took that to the hoop.
Bob Gross goes after the Dr. J dunk, and you're thinking, no way. Why would you even try? But you got to admire his courage or lack of intelligence, whatever it was.
I noticed after that shot, there were a few fans in there who were cheering for me or for my team. And I got a lot of gratification out of that. I was like, man, we stole some of the Portland crowd with that one.
Dr. J is one of the most ridiculous dunkers out there. You know, he's got the hands, he's got the length, and he's got the jumping ability.
I mean, Dr. J first got to have air brakes and could change directions while he's in the air without putting his foot down.
You know the thing that Muhammad Ali used to say, float like a butterfly, sting like a bee? That's what he did on a basketball court.
Sean Kemp. Kemp picks Mark Jackson, gets the give and go. Oh!
Sean Kemp was a guy who was out in Seattle. He's known as the Rain Man. And to see him with that amazing move right at Kenny Skywalker, a guy who had won the slam dunk contest prior, I think it was probably great satisfaction on the part of Sean Kemp.
I was very young at that time. I was 19 years old. That was my first major dunk that I had in the NBA right there, was the one there at the Garden, and it felt great.
Sean Kemp, the Rain Man, could get straight up in the air. He got some monster dunks he put on some people, too. And he didn't consult with me about dunking. So I am the dunk consultant. He has to speak to me sooner or later to release some of these good dunks that we know about.
Coming up, we'll put you in a state of shock with the NBA's most shocking dunks. And later, it's the best of the best, the famous four.
Very seldom in actual game do you actually dunk in a crowded area. And he's dunking over 2 guys, basically.
And now the dunks you never thought you'd see. Like the little guy throwing down over a big man. Or an improbable last-second alley-oop. Even a slam by Larry Bird. Here they are, the most shocking dunks.
Here comes Tracy McGrady to the rim. Off the glass, and it's done! Are you kidding me?
You know, that was a statement playing against my old team. You know, Toronto, sending a message. I'm not going to just show you up, I'm going to embarrass you.
The man was going down the lane and seemed like it parted. He threw the ball over Rafer Alston's head and off the backboard, and he catches in 2 heads. So it's something that hadn't been seen.
You know, it was just a time where I had the utmost confidence within myself, and got the ball on the break one time, and I saw it open, and I was just, you know, like I said, I was confident, and I tried it, and it worked.
It was pretty impressive. So I had to steal it in the All-Star game a couple years later.
Looks like the Hawks want to run. They find Wilkins. Look out.
I think that dunk, I was just mad because I just got burnt 3 or 4 times by Larry. And that was probably just a dunk out of anger. You know, I said, give me the ball in the wing and the rest of you guys get out of the way.
I was trying to figure out why Larry Bird jumped. Because it was Nick's rookie year. He didn't know better. And that would break your fingers. Like, you would have your fingers broke if you really put your hand out there. You know, because not only he dunked it, he cocked it behind his head. Larry Bird was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. No matter how